Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Mess Toys 112 action figure Lethal Neighbor. I'm never gonna not find the neighbor thing funny. It's hilarious to me. I guess just because neighbor implies some sort of friendliness, and especially for Venom, it's funny. But Lethal makes sense because of Lethal Protector. But anyway, you guys know I've given their Spider-Man figures very high reviews. I can't speak English anymore. Good reviews. I said they were nice figures, and obviously they're very inexpensive for how good they are. This guy's no different. Full transparency, they sent me this review sample. I already had one ordered actually from Gundam It Anyway, which is in transit, but I got this quicker because it's a review sample. But I don't have to say anything I don't want to say. I never do. I won't ever do that no matter what. You guys know me by now. The one thing I will do, excuse me, is put their link that they wanted to have me share with you, for them, in the description below. That's it. Otherwise, it's a review as any other. But yeah, this figure's freaking awesome, obviously, but I'll review it anyway. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, let me show you my package. It is a package. It holds the figure. It is nothing remarkable at all. It's not the kind of package you may want to display. Well, it doesn't matter. I think the Mess Toys logo looks like the Hero Toys old logo, and this looks like the Mezco 112 action figure thing. That's funny. But yeah, otherwise it is just a box to hold your stuff, which I think is fine. We don't need expenses spent on packaging. Let's do a question of the day on that. Not necessarily for third-party things, just figures in general. How much of the budget do you think should go into packaging? Because it does make a difference. And obviously it's nice to have a premium package. Apple's been selling subpar phones forever because the packages are premium. I just upset some people. But you get what I'm saying. Like, premium packaging, there is something to it. But how do you guys feel about that? Because for me, for action figures, I would rather all of the budget go into the action figure, frankly. Like, as little as possible into the packaging. Because I don't care about the packaging, but let me know what you guys think. Okay, so like I said, I'll put a link in the description below for you guys to buy this if you want to, and let's get into it. Here he is up against Darwin. I'm starting with that, I guess, instead of height measurements. He's big. He's a big boy. He's got some size to him. Here he is up against one of the other neighbors. Black suit neighbor, is that what they called this one? I doubt they just called it Black Neighbor. That would seem unlikely. There you go. That's the size comparison. This guy based basically on the standard Revoltech Spider-Man. And this guy, I don't believe this guy's actually based on anything directly. I think this is all new. I can't find any Revoltech figures that look like this, so I could be wrong. If you guys know something, I don't know, let me know, but I don't think so. So he's just about 7 5/8 inches tall and about as straight up pose as I could put him in. And that's going to be about, we'll call it 19.2 centimeters. So he's got some size to him. As far as the finish goes, as far as the looks, because we're going to dive right into the aesthetic, he is glossy. I would say glossy, not even semi-glossy. He's pretty shiny, which I don't necessarily mind for Venom. I tend to prefer matte finishes, but for Venom, I mean, you could go either way. Like, that looks nice. It looks premium being a matte finish, but also the gloss looks good for Venom, and it helps to show the sculpt off, so whatever. He is a very, very, very dark, I want to say like indigo color. Like, it's not just straight up purple. It's not straight up blue. It's somewhere in between. He's a blurple, but it's very, very dark. So in the right conditions, he looks black. In the right conditions, he looks very saturated, but that's whatever. The white is pearly white, which is pretty cool. The paint job's clean enough. It's not like immaculate. Some spots are cleaner than others, but it's definitely fine. And the same thing for the head. It's painted, I think the head is actually painted pretty well. Like, it's not some kind of super duper high-end fancy paint job, but it's definitely clean enough to get the job done. No real issues at all with that. Like, you can see some blemishes, but frankly, this is the thing about the licensed action figure manufacturers. They're not doing a better job than this. So when a third-party company makes a figure like this and it has some blemishes, it's no longer okay to say, well, it doesn't look as good as the first party. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And in some cases, better. So it's just it's a strange thing we have going on these days. But yeah, his paint job is simple, but pretty well done. Like I said, definitely clean enough, looks good enough. The heads look good. I'm very happy with all of that. Now, as far as the sculpt goes, I think they kind of nailed it. They kind of nailed being a Revoltech figure, not that it is, but you know, the style, without leaning into it too much, which is definitely what every Revoltech figure should do. Lean away from it as far as possible, but still kind of be there. Because his shoulders, as you can see, he can look pretty normal. Like, the joints are still there, they're obvious, and if you don't try to hide them, he can look goofy. Like, don't do that. But you can make the arms look pretty normal, bringing them down. That looks good. This guy can't really do that. The only way I've done that is by rotating his arms fully, putting his arms straight. If you want his arms to look good, you have to do that at the shoulder, or that to bring them down, which does look more segmented. So this looks nice, I think. He's not super segmented. The worst thing, I think, is the boots, because obviously Venom's not wearing boots. But even then, like, that's not bad for a Revoltech style figure. He looks pretty darn good, and I think the sculpt work, like the musculature and everything, is really nice. Nothing stands out to me as being a problem. This is one of the alternate heads, but I love the open mouth head. He's got an interesting shape to the head, which isn't something you see all the time, but it actually works really well. It looks nice, so I'm pleased with that. So yeah, aesthetically, I'm very happy. I think the one thing I would change is cut the diaper just a little bit lower, because the bottom of the logo tends to hide under that just a little bit. But just a tiny bit, just to round that out a little more, I think would be good, which obviously you could do with an X-Acto pretty easily. But yeah, he looks great. He looks really, really good. Now, I guess one other thing, if we're really trying to be hard on this, which it's only $50, I'm just pointing things out for you to be aware of. This is easily worth the money. I'll put that right out front. His feet are maybe slightly small. One of the rules you can use is you want your foot, if you want to go for a smaller foot, which most superheroes have, a good rule is to be the length of the shin under the knee and above the ankle. So, like, not the full length of the tibia, but like just under the lump of the knee and above where the ankle starts to bow out, so or stick out. So it's just a tiny bit short of that, and this isn't like an official thing. It's just a good rule of thumb for comic figures or comic characters. So his feet are kind of small, but I would prefer small feet over big feet anyway, so I think it's a good thing personally. Okay, yeah, so aesthetically speaking, maybe it would be better black, I guess. That's very subjective. Maybe it would be better with some shading, I guess, but again, that's not necessary at this price point. I'm gonna go 9.5 out of 10. I think it looks freaking great, especially once you pose it. I don't have any complaints with the way it looks. Okay, now as far as accessories, again, at $50, which of course, yeah, I know it's third party, unlicensed, so we have to, there's a reason it's cheaper, but also a lot of these third party figures don't cost less than the first party figures, and these guys do, and you still get a ton. So let's look at the accessories. We have 4 total heads. We have the plain old head that comes on them in the package, which I actually really, really like that one. Then we have the one with the tongue out. I already showed you that. We have the half and half head, which looks pretty darn nice. Combination of paint and sculpt for the symbiote. And then we have the completely unmasked head, if you want to call it unmasked, with the new neck, which mine has like a chunk in the neck, but it's pretty darn good. 4 heads is great. And then for hands, we have plenty of hands, everything you need. I like that we don't only have the arthritis hands, we have some slightly more open, clenchy hands, which I think are good. You know, we could have more, but that's fine. You do get alternate feet if you have the desire to give him the toes, which is like basically the same thing as putting pineapple on pizza, I think, or pickles and peanut butter. I don't know why you would ever want Venom to have toes, but you can do that if you want, and it's a nice enough sculpt. And then lastly, for main accessories, we have the different tendrily type things. So you get the 2 interchangeable hand pieces, which are pretty cool. I don't think I would personally use them, but you do have them. And then you get some tendrils for his back, which are nice also. So you can add the 2 to his back that just peg in, and then they also have the pegs for the ones that can be on his hands, or you can just put the little stinger type thing on it too, if you want to give him a poker. So you get that. So that's a pretty good spread, and you get a stand with the metal bendy upright. And the stand is actually cool because it's got this cool purpley pearlescent paint job where it looks black at certain angles, but then it's purple. So that's nice. So yeah, for $50, that's a ton. That's way more than enough. I mean, yeah, you could always have more stuff with Venom, but that is fine. So I'm going to say 10 out of 10 for accessories. That is definitely plenty. All right, let me swap out the heads actually so that we can just use the neutral head, and then we will do the articulation. So there we go. All right, for articulation, the head does move around nicely. It is on a double ball peg. It's a bent double ball peg, and it doesn't get as much range as you might expect, but it's still plenty, and it looks good, so I think that's fine. Like, you don't have big gaps or anything. or like the head cut so that you can have a floaty piece in there to fill in the gap to let him look really high up. You don't have that, but I think it looks better that way. The neck does move to help him lean up. If you go all the way back, you get a gap in the front. Just don't go that far back and you'll be fine. It does pop off too easily, I would say, and that's probably the result of the interchangeable neck, but what are you going to do? For $50, I'm fine with it. It's not loose in the meantime, but it does pop off too easily. We have a couple issues like that, but the neck does move around pretty well, so that's nice. For the shoulders, it's your standard Revoltech style where it's a ball hinge and then a ball socket. They might pop off too easily. I had it do it the other day when I was looking at it, but now it's not doing it, so that's good. But yeah, you get your standard Revoltech design. Raising the arm up doesn't work as well because it has less of that gap up there, so you do have, there you go. There you go. It does pop off sometimes, but it's not loose, so that's nice. Yeah, you will have less range than some Revoltech figures, but it looks significantly better, so I think that's okay. But you're going to get your full rotation. Bringing the arm across the chest without the butterfly works pretty well, but again, it's that trade-off of aesthetic versus function, form over function, which I am fine with because it already gets enough range, so I don't want it to look like a robot, so that's cool. Now, as far as the shoulders go, you do get the butterfly that goes all the way in, which is pretty nice. You can bring the arms across pretty far, and it goes all the way back as well. Maybe not the best looking thing because of the logo, but yeah, he has good range in that butterfly, so that's nice. You do have your bicep swivel. It's a little bit of an angle, but not too much. It's probably better than most Revoltechs. I think they've done what I've been asking for Revoltech to do, which is to lean into the aesthetic just a little bit more. Same type of elbows as usual too, ball peg here, ball hinge here, so you can bend it like that and like that to get extra deep bend, but it's going to be gappy, or you can close it up and get less range, but less gap. Okay, so that's fine. Then the wrists are on little ball hinges, no issues there. For the torso, he can lean very far back. If you go to the extreme, you get a little gap, but that makes sense. And you can lean very far forward as well. It's a very good diaphragm joint. That is how you do it. Ball pegs all the way, all the range, all the rotation, everything you want. You fudge it a little bit to make it more spherical so that you get all the range you want, and that is fine. Lower torso, kind of similar situation. Doesn't go as far. Leans back a little bit. Leans forward a lot. I mean, relatively speaking. And then side to side is not bad, but then you do get more rotation. So putting them together, you get really good range. Very, very nicely done. That is how you do torsos. That's great. The hips, basically Revoltech hips, but not as annoying. To get them to go out to the side, that's as far as they go. Oh yeah, this happens. The ball pegs don't hold the legs on as well as I would like, but they're not loose in the meantime at least, so that's okay. So the legs go out that far on their own, but then you have to do the Revoltech shimmy to get them out to the side even farther. So you have to rotate the hip to do that, but it works. As with all Revoltech figures, you can get most range. It's just going to be kind of a nuisance. Bring the legs forward. The diaper is soft, not super soft, so you'll have to fight with it a little bit. It gets decent enough range going forward, and then of course going back you get range also. The soft diaper will flex some, not a ton, but it is what it is for Revoltech. For the knees, standard Revoltech style without the knee pad. That's interesting. Unfortunately, they only sculpted the kneecap up here just a little bit, so it kind of looks a little weird, but also I prefer it not having the knee pad, so that's fine. I think that's totally fine. You get that really deep knee bend without using the shin, so that's nice, but then you do have the extra joint on the shin. Could be a little tighter, but it's not bad. So far, all the joints are perfectly tight. That's good. But yeah, you do get that extra shin bend if you need it. That gives you the knee bend even deeper if you want. Or you can do like more stylized pose with the curved shin. And then for the ankle, I do wish these were a little bit tighter, but they are just ball hinges. So decent range for sure. That's fine. Ankle rocker works. Just could be a little bit tighter. And the toe hinge is actually really nice. So that's good. So yeah, it is a good figure as far as articulation goes. Not absolutely perfect if you want the absolute most range ever out of a Revoltech, but in terms of how good it looks with the range it has, I think it's very, very nice. So I'm going to give the articulation on this guy a 9.5 out of 10. It is really, really, really good. Very, very pleased with that. Okay, now it's time for the final verdict. This is the Venom to get. If you ask me, if you don't care about the color, yes, this is the one to get. If you don't want the dark purple, then obviously you don't want to get this, but I think this is the way to go for Venom, for sure. It's really, really nice. Obviously, again, we do have that stylization a little bit for being a Revoltech style figure, but it's still the best Venom we have. which is crazy to me. How many companies have been making Marvel figures for how long now, and we don't have a particularly good Venom figure? It's just nuts. I hope they do a recolor in black and a recolor in blue, frankly, and maybe a few different accessories for each one. I'd buy every single one of them. I am just thrilled with this. Yeah, his hips look weird at certain angles, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but once you pose him, you won't see that. Yeah, it's great. Overall rating, 9.5 out of 10. It's for the money, it's like without a doubt worth getting. Easily. So I recommend it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will be done there. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.